Hello again, everybody. I'm Josh Bean from AL.com. I'm here with Jeff Sentell, here to talk about the second round of the AHSAA playoffs. Jeff, we learned some things in round one, particularly about Clay Chalkville, Calera, some other teams. What's your take on this Clay Chalkville team that just scored 85?
Yeah, if I'm the Clay Chalkville scoreboard operator, Josh, I'm going to go in and ask for a little bit of double pay or triple pay. Let me set the table for you. Number one, they had 85 points in the game.
Mm-hmm.
They had 135 combined points in the game. Those are both Alabama high school football records, at least in the AHSA.
In the playoffs.
Or in the AISA in the playoffs, and that's tremendous. You know, Clay's already got 587 points. Mm-hmm. The state record for most points, Josh, is like 761. So if they click off their 58 point per game average, they'll do it in round four. Now, here's what's impressive. If you look at those leaders all time, you got a lot of 1A teams like Demopolis, Maplesville. You don't have any 4As or any 5As, and most certainly not any 6As. Yeah. So Clay Chalkville, I mean, I don't know if I'm really happy after an 85-point win because they give up 50, and an eighth grader throws for 5 touchdowns, even if it is Patrick Nix's kid. But I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter if you can score 80 points a week.
And Oak Mountain, Clay Chalkville was not the only team to score a bunch of points. How about this Oak Mountain team? I mean, they put up 60 after going down 4 touchdowns.
I like that team. There's just something about Oak Mountain this year. You know, they used to call them Joke Mountain. I don't think they're a joke anymore. Any team that can fall down 28 points and basically catch up to 35 game with about 10 minutes left in the second half on their way to 60 points, running a little bit of veer, running a little bit of triple option, running a little bit of everything. That has my attention. And, you know, Oak Mountain is in a nice spot, Josh, because they run an offense nobody really sees.
That's right.
You can't practice for it in a week, and I think they'll win again this week at Gadsden City.
Another team that really showed up and won in a big spot was this Calera team. They lose Ronnie Clark, the all-everything guy last year. We wondered what would happen. This team's already won 10 games.
Yeah, to me it was a big grow-up moment for me because this was a Calera team that was going from 4A to 5A, and gosh, Viger is a standard in terms of an athletic, physical bunch. I wondered if Calera's kind of soft schedule would allow them to go play a really tough team from a tough region down in Viger, and they passed the test. You know, they've got some big hog mollies on the offensive line. I love Calera's offensive line. They get one of their guys in the Player of the Week vote every week in Birmingham, and Shakeith Ties.
Already 2,000 yards.
He's a legitimate 5A back of the year candidate, and I thought that was a clear grow-up moment for Calera. And, you know, if somebody's looking for a head coach, they ought to look at Wiley McKellar because he's had his team the first or second best offense in every classification he's been in. And that's saying quite a lot, and he's done it without superstars and with superstars.
Okay, here's a really fascinating game. 6A, we got Saraland, moved up from 5A against Opelika. And, you know, ultimately these may be the 2 best teams from the South. What do you make of this game?
Yeah, the injury to Spanish Fort we've talked about a lot. I think this is really they got to play a couple more rounds, but I think this is the de facto 6A South freeway express lane, fast lane to Jordan-Hare Stadium because those 2 teams have been the best teams in the South for a while. They both have tremendous athletes. Opelika's got a ton of athletes. Saraland's been the best out of a tough region down there in South Alabama. And I really think the winner of that game is going to go on to play Clay Chalkville in the 6A state final.
Well, you know, we feel good about teams like Hoover, and we feel good about Madison Academy. But, you know, some of these other classes, we learned some things about some of the best teams last week.
Yeah, last week was interesting, and I'm looking at this week for another team like Leeds. You know, most people, if you had to tell them in 10 seconds to break down Class 4A, you're going to say, well, UMS Wright's going to play Leeds in the semifinal, and the winner will go on and win the 4A state championship. This is a benchmark game this week for Leeds because they play Clark County. That's a team that UMS Wright handled earlier this year, so I'm going to wonder what Leeds does with the same team that kind of got beat up by UMS Wright.
We'll see what happens Friday night around the state. You can follow all of our coverage at AL.com/high school. Thanks for watching.